Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Jerisha. Welcome back to Millennial on Fire. And today on this video, I want to talk about my journey into entrepreneurship and kind of like the testimony of how that has happened. If you do not follow me on Instagram, Coach Jerisha. Also my business page, Love Life on Purpose. So let me tell y'all about it. So first of all, I feel like I need to make this video as an encouragement and also a marker in my life of starting a journey, and for me to look back and say, wow, you did it, girl. God did it, obviously, and also some things to share to those of you who are hearing the same thing from the Lord, or feeling these feelings, or just kind of need help. So a little bit of background about me. So I went to school. When I graduated from high school, I went to school for criminal justice. I graduated with my bachelor's in criminal justice, and I worked in a prison. I worked at nonprofits. I've always been in the social service field. So I did that, and then while I was working at the prison, I met some social workers, and they were over a rehabilitation house that helped women that dealt with drug abuse, that lost children, just kind of helping them get their life back together. And it really intrigued me, so I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to do. So I pursued social work as a graduate study. I went back to school, got my social work degree, my graduate degree in social work, and became a social worker. So for the last 10 years, I've been practicing and working in social services, and I really enjoyed working with people. I love helping people. My mantra was always like, I want everybody to be free. I want people to be free from bondage internally. That was my thing. So I sought those jobs out, and I was a go hard. Like, it didn't, like, at one point money didn't matter to me. I just wanted to do the work because I felt it was a personal assignment for me. And I felt like I was doing kingdom work, which was all that mattered. So yeah, I did that. And then so this is 2022. So probably around 2020, when the pandemic happened, I was like in a very bad mental state. I was in a very bad mental space. I was working as a case manager at the Salvation Army. And I really enjoyed the work, but it was very stressful. It was very stressful. It was very taxing. And I didn't recognize how much it was taking a toll on me until like the pandemic hit, and I recognized some things about myself that I was like, something's not right. Like, I was having panic attacks. I was just being very extreme in some things that wasn't healthy for me. I lost a lot of weight. And a big part of that was an issue within myself. Like, I looked at me helping people and trying to be the fixer. In retrospect, that's what I recognized. And when you have that mentality, you go to the extremes to help people because you feel like you got the answers. And I knew I had the answer, which was Jesus. And I just wanted everybody to have him so they could be healed and whole. But I didn't know, or I wasn't mature enough to recognize, like, people have to surrender their hearts and their minds in these patterns of addiction and behaviors that they were into. They have to surrender that. Like, I can't surrender it for them. And I was always trying to put myself out there for them to walk that path. Like, kind of like if you put, you know how like in movies or love stories or whatever, like the man will put the coat on the floor so the woman won't have to get her feet dirty or whatever. That was kind of like how I lived my life for them. And it was just not healthy. So it came to a point in 2020 when the pandemic hit. I'll never forget it. I I was so anxious, y'all. I was dealing with anxiety, and it came to the point where I was like, I have to quit this job because I can't do this anymore. Like I just couldn't do it anymore. And I've had a video about that before, about my mental health journey. But I quit my job, and the job was so stressful for me because I remember the day that I put in my resignation, I literally, so for a whole year, and disclaimer if anybody's ears are sensitive, but for a whole year I didn't have a cycle. And I remember when I put in my 2 weeks notice, I literally started my cycle. It was like that much stress and that much anxiety and strain on my nervous system was just, it just shut everything down. And the day that I did that, it started back. It was crazy. So I quit my job, and I was like, okay. Now, during this time, I had obviously always was on YouTube. I was making videos. I've always made videos. I've always made videos about encouragement or Bible study or life or whatever the case may be. That's always what I've done in spite of me still pursuing this career. And so during that time when I quit my job, I remember hearing the Lord clearly tell me, like, surrender to me, surrender your life to me, like, give it to me, submit to me, and let me take you on a journey. And I truly believe that was the beginning of him saying, this is the time to start your entrepreneurial journey and what I want you to do and in your ministry. And I was like, okay. So I was really confident in that. I was like, I'm doing it. I had made a video about it, like now. I'm gonna see, can I find it? I made a video about it. I did all of that stuff. Now, mind you, back then I was still just wanting to know that I was hearing from the Lord, be sure about it. And I was telling my mom, I was telling people that were close to me, and that was like, that's not smart. You don't have any money. What are you gonna do? Da 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 da. Mind you, I had already took out some money from my retirement because I was serious about it. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to trust God. I took out money, so I was okay for a little minute. And it was not normal. It was like the okay thing to do at the time because everybody was taking from their retirement because nobody had no money. So I had prepared, and I remember the first couple of days, y'all, when I started this journey in 2020, I was so scared and anxious. It felt like I was losing my mind, but I remember God's voice, y'all. I can remember to this day. I remember his voice, and he was just kind of teaching me every day. Okay, this is what you need to do. You need to get some structure. Get some structure. These are the videos you can do this day. It was like he was helping me, and I was like, okay. And I was still very scared. I was still very anxious. So I'm hearing God's voice, but I'm also hearing my mom and my family members and the people that are closest to me, like, you need a job. You don't have no job. You need to be doing this, And so, like I said, it was a very difficult time for me. So I was wavering. I was the James 1 verse about when they talk about an unstable man and all his ways. That was me. One day I had faith. Other day I did not. And then unfortunately, it got to the point where I leaned towards the fear side, and I just asked God. I just started applying for jobs. I was like, I gotta go back. It's not the time for me. Da 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 da. So went back to work. Hated it. Absolutely freaking hated it. And that whole year, y'all, it was just traumatic. It was terrible. I made terrible decisions. 2020 was not my year, okay? So, fast forward, I ended up getting a job at another social work place, and that was a therapist. And so I'm thinking like, yes, this is God opening this door. It was my dream job. My dream social work job was to be a therapist. And I was making the most money I ever made. Like, all these things were just lining up. I couldn't wait to tell my mom. It was great. And I got to leave the job. And I'll tell you, the job I was at was at a call center for an electric company. And I hate call centers. I cannot stand them. I never want to work in that environment again. And I don't even know if I should say that. But It's just, and it's not nothing wrong with it. It's just, I can't sit and be on the phone all day like that. And it's just bad. So, what was I saying? So yeah, so I did that, got the job, started the job. I was like, yes, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Get that about jury job. I'm giving shout. Y'all probably seen it on my Facebook. I'm giving shout outs to Jesus. Thank you, Lord. You answer my prayer. And I'll tell you, God answered my prayer. I had specific prayers and he answered every one of them. Every one of them about that job he answered. Now, in retrospect, now I know he answered them to show me what I did not want. I thought I wanted it, but he's like, okay, I'm going to give you what you asked for, but I'm going to show you this is not what you really want. This is not what you want, but you think you do, so I'm going to give it to you. Y'all, that was a great job. I recommend anybody to that company. I wish I would have started there in my social work career, because I probably would have had a better experience and more money, let's just say. But so this was last year in June. I started last year, 2021, June. Started that goddamn job, y'all. Started the job and I loved it. I loved it until about, I would say February of this year. This is very fresh. This is very new. So this is not nothing like years ago. So February, I was like, okay, this is my dream job. I like it, but it's draining me. Like that same cycle that I was in before. I told y'all in 2020. And it's crazy because I just listened to Msnaturallymary on YouTube. She had a similar testimony, the same feelings, the same thing she did. I'll tag the video or link the video in the description. This is God is good. And I was just like, I just don't want to do this. I was irritated. I would have like, out of 5 days out of the week that I work, I would only have like 2 good days. I was just up and down. Mind you, I just got married. I'm coming home, complaining to my husband. I'm emotionally wrecked, just tired physically. I began to have migraines, y'all. I've never had migraines a day in my life. Ever, never, ever. I've been a healthy person for most of me have been healthy, other than I've had asthma, but been healthy. I was having migraines. I couldn't figure out why. I was fatigued. It was just it was declining. It was like, and I was like, okay, you know, as social workers in the helping field, you experience, compassion fatigue and burnout. So I'm like, okay, I'm going through burnout. I need to take a break. So I'm taking a break. I'll take a week off. And then it became more worse. Like, I couldn't even finish the work week. Like, I couldn't finish the work week. It was just not happening. Like, my body wouldn't let me do it. My mind wouldn't let me do it. And so I began to talk to my supervisor, like, this is what's going on with me. I'm not trying to be a terrible worker, but I am not here mentally. Like, I had checked out before I knew I really checked out until that point. One day I was driving down the street. And I think I was praying to God about, Lord, heal me. And the Lord spoke compassion fatigue. I looked up compassion fatigue. And basically, compassion fatigue is when you have basically exceeded burnout. Like, it's just like complete, I have nothing left in me. I don't want to do the work. The symptoms that I was having, migraines, no empathy, just very, very just like blah. And that's how I felt. I didn't have any empathy for people. I didn't have any like, I want to help. It was nothing. I was like blank face, cold face, just didn't care about nothing. So told my supervisor, 2 months later rolled by. I'm like, I should be good. No, it did not. When I say it did not change, I was still, 2 months later, I was still like that. And I was like, all right, man, something got to give. So I started praying back to God, like, Lord, show me what to do. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm over it. And the Lord began to speak to me about a couple of things. But one day I was sitting down. That's funny. I was sitting down at the desk, and I think I was praying about my next move, honestly. I was like, Lord, what should I do? So I'm sitting at the desk, and the words purpose coaching came to me. And I was like, purpose coaching? I ain't never heard that, girl. Well, not girl, but I knew it was the Lord, because I was like, I didn't even know that existed. So did my research. God kept talking to me about it. Led me to a coaching academy through Instagram. And probably like February, the end of February, this all was happening within a month, y'all. And I was like, Lord, when I'm going to leave this job? So I was like, I'm going to give myself 6 months. I'm going to leave in August of 2022 this year. I was like, I'm going to leave in August. I'm going to save up 6 months of money. Y'all, I was tripping. I was struggling to make it through the week. I was not going to make it to no August. I was not. And I remember plain that I was sitting by this window. If y'all can see. Y'all can see this window right here. I was sitting by that window, and the Lord was like, no, it wasn't that window. It was the one in my living room. The Lord was like, if you can't serve these families, you need to let it go. Because I was like canceling, didn't want to do it. And it wasn't like it was becoming neglect because I just couldn't no more. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And the verse that the Lord gave me was Ecclesiastes. And it talks about better with one hand full of tranquility than 2 hands full of toil. And that verse jumped out to me, and it kept replaying in my head. I'm like, God, I can't do it. And so finally, fast forward, I decided, I was like, the end of February, I was like, Lord, this is going to be my last month. I saved as much money as I could. I was like, I can't do it. And I felt peace about it. So I told my supervisor, March 3rd will be my last day. March 3rd will be my last day. I decided to stay part-time because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do after that. I'm not going to have no income. But the Lord was showing me to let it go, be decisive, let it go. And your girl was like, I could just do part-time. And when I told her I could do part-time, I just felt like, no. I just felt convicted about it. So I carried it on another week, and I didn't feel right about it. I couldn't juggle what I was doing because that's what God was showing me. Like, you trying to build a business in this, with these opportunities that I have for you, you can't do all that. So I had to go back and say, supervisor, I can't. This is too much. And my family is going through a transition right now. And there's so much more to this story. Like I said, this is very new. This is the end of March. This happened at the beginning of March. And so many doors have opened for me. So many things have happened. But I feel like I needed to make this video now just to kind of show you like how I got to this point and where I'm going, and how the Lord will really challenge you to trust him at his word and lean all the way, lean into him and depend on him for everything, because he is your source. And yes, this continued journey will continue. The saga continues. I can say that I am in my coaching academy. My plan is to be done by May, and I'll start taking clients in May. So please be ready. Like I said, purpose coaching, and I'm getting my Christian life coaching certification now. So my website, and it's crazy because all this stuff was prepared last year. I made this website last year. I just didn't know it was purpose coaching, But it's lovelifeonpurpose.com. I have a podcast, Love Life on Purpose. You go on my Instagram, Love Life on Purpose, but the love is without an E. You see all these things that I have been creating. The Lord has been pushing me to create, not knowing he would set me up to just fully come out and go ahead and do it. So I just want y'all to know that faith without works is dead. But you got to have faith, and you have to be willing to take risks to get there. And I'm just excited and Like, it's y'all. Like, I'm just walking this thing out by faith. So that's my story time today. Until the next video, I love y'all.